Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mariana Zamoszczyk. I'm a senior analyst. I specialize in smart home technologies. I'm part of the consumer services team. I'm going to use this, and I hope I make it right. I'm very passionate about what I do, and as an analyst, I think the smart home is the future. I'm going to be talking about that exactly today. I'm going to be starting with the picture of what's going on these days, the present, the smart home today, and I'm going to go with you through this journey and see what's going to happen in the next year and in 2022. This is part of the result of some analysis we've done recently. I've developed many different smart home trackers, forecast, surveys, so I'm going to be sharing with you some interesting information, and I'd be delighted to talk about it later with you. I'm in the stand outside, and obviously have review some of the data with you and answer some questions. So let's start reviewing what's going on now. So the smart home right now has multiple devices. It's not weird to think about connected, connected pillow, a connected fork. It's not weird to think about things that were not connected in the past, but now they are. So more and more devices are entering the home. It's not, they're growing exponentially, and I wanted to highlight that it's common to have those devices around. What we see as well is that those devices are easy to deploy. They are kind of plug and play. It's not difficult. I have installed some devices at home, and I was surprised how easy it was. So that's good for consumers. We've seen as well that some players in the market, they realize, okay, we need to simplify this. We need to provide smart home solutions for dummies. So we'll see more and more of those solutions coming. We see as well that prices are dropping. Affordable solutions. I don't know if you've seen some promotional or seasonal events such as Amazon Prime Day, Black Friday. You have some companies offering bundles. They do promotions, discounts. They offer you a smart speaker as well as smart lights for a convenient price. So those devices are entering the home sphere thanks to those promotions as well. So we will see more and more of that. We see as well that many different use cases. Use cases are applications. Originally, you would have smart home solutions around security, which we are going to see later why it's one of the most important use cases. For the pictures. Good. We'll see other use cases as well around energy management. Smart thermostats are very popular. We've seen assisted living. We've seen solutions around commerce, comfort, mixing lights with games, and you have so many different options. However, we'll see that today those use cases are a little bit limited. There are room for improvement there, and I'm going to be sharing with you some interesting findings there. We've seen that this market, it's very competitive, it's getting crowded. We have vendors from one side, vendors such as technology companies, Amazon, Google, Apple, Samsung. You have those kind of players, and you also have service providers. When I refer to service providers, I mean telcos, obviously, insurance companies, energy companies, security, healthcare providers. They're all keen on trying to, we see opportunity in the smart home, let's go and play there. But they realize as well that besides competing, it's important to cooperate with them. So we have a fast-growing ecosystems. They realize that, they cannot go by themselves. Playing solo in this industry, it's very hard. So we have a competition. We have companies that they compete in some specific segments, but they are partners in others. So we'll see this market, as I said, it's getting crowded. We have more and more entrants. We have also companies that are saying, we are not going to make any money here, let's go. But those cases are very important to have some lessons learned, and I'm going to be sharing some. And also we have innovation around different user interfaces. At the very beginning, it was all about mobile phones. I'm going to disarm my alarm, done. No, nowadays we have multiple user interfaces. We have voice. It's a very important one. We've seen AI assistants are here to change the smart home. We have motion, gesture control, we have sound as an interface, and we're going to see that innovation is going to bring more and more of those interfaces. We have as well, in the AI assistant sphere, we have more languages. So that's thanks to the strategy of different players in this market, thinking, okay, we need to not just concentrate on the most developed economies, let's go to other emerging ones. So this is the scenario, this is what's going on today. But obviously, what I'm here to stress is that smart home hasn't reached mass market. And we need to understand what needs to be done for that to change. So I'm going to be sharing with you some good insight. This is part of our forecast in terms of how many devices are at present part of the home, an average of 7 devices this year, and we forecast that by 2022, almost 12 devices per household. I'm sure that some houses right now, they have more than that, but this is an average. And we'll see, let's go and have a look at the composition of this demand. I have highlighted before some specific use cases. We see security, it's very important. And why do you think security is that important? Any ideas? Security, it's very easy to sell. We as consumers relate to security in a very simple way. We understand. So service providers specifically, they have a specific proposition for that, as well as vendors. They found that security, it's a very compelling use case. It's very easy to sell. It's linked to one of the messages I was giving before around smart home for dummies. As I said, it's simple for consumers to understand and relate why they could invest in security as deploying a webcam or a doorbell or some sensors around the home. But when we look at the evolution, we see, okay, how about other things inside security? We could include, I don't know, safety specifically. We can include assisted living. If I have a panic button, that's security as well. And if I give that panic button to my mother and when she falls, I will detect what happened. So we have so many different applications around this, but what I'm trying to highlight is something that it's needed, and some vendors in this industry have realized that they need to invest more and more in this. It's providing end users the possibility to personalize, to customize, the tailored experience. Right now, when I go and analyze some of the offering of some service providers in this industry, that some telcos specifically, they focus loads on security because they understand it's easy to sell, so they push bundles to the market offering a camera with some sensors and, for example, I don't know, a smoke detector, a leak detector. But when they package those solutions and they go to market and customers say, okay, how about if I want to add this and this and this? Oh, no, sorry, that's not part of my bundle. This is what we have. Go and use that. No, consumers don't want that. They want to create their own user experience. They want to create their own use cases. So while we just think it's going to happen, it's a revolution about those features. These days, for example, on AI assistants, you can offer different features to personalize the experience, to identify who's speaking and offer that customization and reach it and offer it to the next level. So let's have a look at those use cases, as I said. And we've seen security right now. And this is the picture of a comparison of one of our main customer insight surveys we released lately. And we see here that security around webcams and doorbells specifically have established and they've reached maturity. However, we've seen that utility for us is a smart thermostats, smart lights, smart plugs, for example. Adoption levels are not reaching the same level. Why? Because not necessarily a good use case. Vendors have not been able to sell this to market. Smart thermostats are very convenient, but they are not offering the savings they promise. So we do have them as a very important niche market, but however, they are not growing the same way. But the star of this story are smart speakers. AI assistants are changing the way we interact with the smart home. They are enabling consumers to create and have a proper smart living experience at home. So we think that smart speakers are going to change the way we interact with those devices. Some people start the smart home journey by acquiring a smart speaker. Some start with smart lights, but we'll see that the increase in adoption of smart speakers are going to change this. And why? AI assistants. They are getting more intelligent by the day, more skills. They support more languages. So you have vendors in this industry investing more and more. You don't have only vendors, you have telcos. We've seen before the case of Telefonica. We have, I don't know, Deutsche Telekom doing the same, Comcast in the US. They also have their own AI assistants. And it's important to see that security is going to remain important, but smart speakers are going to change and are going to become the main and the flagship product of the smart home. Let's see what's going to happen next year. Definitely smart speakers are going to rule there. We asked some respondents, some consumers about what their intentions for the next 12 months, and they say, okay, definitely smart speakers, but they also mention smart appliances. And I want to do a double click and explain a little bit why I refer to smart appliances. I refer to small cookware, microwaves, coffee makers, hoovers, small white goods. I'm not referring to large appliances such as dishwashers, washing machines, or fridges that they have lengthy replacement rates. So that's going to be difficult. And obviously, those devices are very expensive. So I refer to small appliances that are easy to buy. And we've seen some announcements. Important companies are launching AI-enabled microwaves. So this is going to happen next year. And more consumers are going to start creating those experiences around the kitchen. The kitchen is a very important room at home. And we'll see, and you could see also as well many skills for recipes, cooking advice, for shopping. Shopping is an important thing for voice assistants. So we'll see as well the uptake of security and utility solutions is going to continue, but not to the same level. So let's have a look now at what's going to happen in 2022. We see here that the smart home has one of the biggest growth potentials in the TMT sector. Growth rates are very important if you compare them to other sectors. In terms of revenue, that's going to be difficult. The monetization in this industry will take time. Will not happen overnight. Some service providers especially are struggling here. They are trying to find the best business model to go through this. It's going to take time, as I said, but potential is there. Why? Because in 2022, nearly 500 million households would have a smart device. We've seen that an average of 12 devices are going to be present. I definitely think much more. And when we look at sales in terms of revenue, we'll see that the sales of devices is going to reach $72 billion. That's a very significant number, and that is going to mainly come from mature economies. The US and China are going to be representing 60% of those device sales. When we look at services, and I mean the service component of each smart home device is an area that requires attention, and then we are going to be talking more about what needs to be done now for things to change. I was talking about services that's going to be driven specifically for around professional security services. That's an area that we've seen lots of uptake of solutions for security and safety. They are more around self-monitoring. It's following a sort of DIY approach. I deploy my own camera sensors and I control, but however, you do have users that they prefer to have professional security services being delivered by, I don't know, companies such as ADT, that they provide 24/7 surveillance. So you have a mix of self-monitoring and professional security services together, but they're all going to push for more demand. And as I said, there are 3 areas I would like to share with you with some results of our surveys that require our attention, that are very important to see. The first one is that we were talking about AI assistants. They are disrupting the smart home. They are changing the way we interact with our devices, the way we create our own experiences. However, I'm sure you all use AI assistants, and they are not perfect yet. They are not smart enough. They need to improve. And we ask consumers, okay, could you rate the experience with your assistant right now? And we compare results from what happened year over year. And this is really bad. The user experience with AI assistant has deteriorated. That's not good news. Amazon, Google, all the players in this industry are worried about this. This means that frustrations increase. Why? We ask people why you are saying that the user experience has deteriorated. I have an accent. I have my home speaker at home, and I need to repeat things 3 times to get one command right. Imagine, I need to shout at my speaker, please turn the lights on. No, puts music. No, I said lights. Okay. Imagine this multiplied. You have more and more speakers at home, but however, AI assistants are not capable of understanding who's speaking. User identification, it's not working the way it should work. It's getting commands wrong. Skills are not necessarily all great and useful. I recommend you looking at the skill store and find very, very interesting skills about what you can do. Yeah, I can play sounds for relaxation and have motivational quotes, but no, come on, give me a useful skill that I could use every day to do something. I want to start doing more transactions. I wish one day I can do my banking through my voice assistant, but I don't even think that we are even close to that. So what AI assistant providers need to do is provide usefulness. They need to concentrate on that, and they're working on that, believe me. And trust. Trust is a very important thing. I don't know if you heard some recent incidents where a popular AI assistant was recording a conversation and sending the information. Yeah, you said yes. It's very, very bad. That's bad publicity for these guys. And they need to work on that. What they're doing, yes, they are investing on this area. They realize also they cannot do this by themselves. They need the ecosystem. They need the developer community to help them create more engaging skills. They need to also give them money for that. They need to offer more monetization opportunities. If you have developers that are doing all the hard work for them for free, no, forget it. So they are giving them more incentives. They are giving them more tools as well. They are investing in funds, in accelerator programs. They are helping them to create useful skills, great, and then also help users for skill discovery. Finding a skill sometimes takes, I don't know, you need to have time to go through the application and see, okay, which skill can I enable? No. I want to be taught what's new. I want, as a consumer, to be explained, okay, this is all the things you could do. Don't let me go and jump in and review the 50,000 skills one of the most popular AI assistants is offering these days. 50,000. How on earth would I know what all the things I could do? So it's important to continue educating users. So this is an area to pay attention, and this is urgent because you would have more and more users having smart speakers at home, putting them in the corner and start collecting dust because they would stop using the speaker, and that's the worst thing that could happen to them, okay? So they are working on this, but they obviously need to continue. Now we're going to see an important trend. This is good news. And this is where media and entertainment merges and joins the smart home. We ask consumers to indicate which device do they use and control via voice, and they say TV sets. We ask them, okay, how often do you use these voice assistants to control? And you see, turning the TV on and off, it's one of the most important uses. I was expecting playing music. If you look at this, you could see it from two different perspectives. One, you could say, okay, but turning the TV on and off it's a simple task. It's okay, turning the lights on and off, but on the other hand, AI assistants are changing the way we search and discover for content. So different players in the TV segment are very keen and investing more and more on the creation of this. Consumer electronic companies are creating set-top boxes with voice capabilities, smart TVs, remote controls. So we have voice as an interface that it's growing more and more in terms of adoption when we look at it from a media and entertainment user experience. We have also service providers working in this area. Why Telefonica has launched Aura? Because they think it's a very intuitive way to interact with the user. So the voice interface is going to change more and more. The thing is, it's a very protective strategy as well. Why would they let a Google Assistant or Siri or Amazon Alexa to interact with them, with their users and the services they provide? So we will see that more and more AI assistants from vendors and service providers are going to start interacting. Magenta from Deutsche Telekom is going to be launched by the end of the year. And one of the things they announced, and they made it very clear, is that Magenta, it's going to interoperate with Alexa. So that's a key change. Aura with Google Assistant. So we will see the coexistence of those different assistants. I don't know how many assistants you have. I have 3. So more and more we will have those assistants playing. And the thing is, we need to bear this in mind. Finally, as one of the trends I would like to highlight here, and despite it's a very niche market these days, it's very small, is assisted living. Assisted living, I'm going to do some definition here for you to understand what I mean, is the use of panic buttons and GPS trackers for elderly people that decided to live independently at home. We see that the interest for technology to take care or control the well-being of others, our loved ones, it's increasing. Population, it's aging very, very fast. The government, the public funds are not enough to cover social care. Having private care, it's very expensive. So what we will see in the future, probably not this generation, but we will use, when we get old, these devices to control our health, to ask for help in the case of an emergency. So we will use more and more connected devices from an assisted living use perspective. So this demand is going to be driven by large economies with aging populations, the US, Japan, China, Germany. And we will see more and more. And this is an area I wanted to highlight that deserves attention for a good reason. You have some players in the market that started doing some research, creating their own propositions. However, it's not really taking off the way it should because it's still niche, but it's an area to look for. And as a conclusion and some important recommendations I have, we've seen that the smart home has one of the biggest growth potentials in the industry. That's very important. However, it's going to take a few years to really take off the way we wish, and monetization would definitely remain a challenge. For vendors, I have one specific recommendation, especially if they have developed their own AI assistant. Concentrate on quality, not quantity. What needs to be done is not to go and launch more skills. You need to do better skills, improve the experience, create a more engaging experience. So consumers will stick and they will continue using your services. And they also need to pay attention to services. once you sell the device, you need to see how to monetize services on top of that device. So they need to focus on creating additional revenue through services. What they're doing right now, it's some players are saying, okay, let's go with security. So they started offering security services on top of all the security devices they are introducing to market. To service providers, I say, stick to what you do best. And stay close to your core services, core business. We talked about the case of service providers developing their own AI assistant for the TVs and content services. Stick to that instead of playing in areas you are not comfortable. We've seen many telcos playing in security. However, when they go and offer security solutions, they realize it's complex, they need partners, they need a comprehensive portfolio. And they end up competing with the ADTs of this world and other security firms that have experience for many years. So it's difficult to play in some areas. So it's better to stick to what you do best. And also try to think that the smart home as an area that is kicking you out of your comfort zone. It's a retail game. So you do need to develop sales strategies, good sales channels. Consumers need to go and try. So having a store strategy, it's a very important thing. And also pricing. Subscription, it's very difficult to sell for smart home services. You need to provide a very compelling service and clear that would require consumers to pay for a monthly subscription. Assisted living, when they understand that they have the security of having for £3 or £4 a month, the security of having their loved ones are going to be taken care of emergency, they will pay for that. But they need to understand, and the use case needs to be clear. So those are the main recommendations I have for this. I don't know if you have any questions or would like to make some comments.
Do we have any questions for her? Oh, we have quite a few. There's a microphone coming round, so we'll maybe start with that one on my left towards the back.
I thought you did very well by talking about artificial intelligence in the home, because you said it doesn't work, and I don't think artificial intelligence is all that it's meant to be. Do you?
Sorry.
So the question was, you did a very good job of pointing out that supposed artificially intelligent systems aren't that smart.
Okay.
And sorry, I missed the last part.
Well, perhaps artificial intelligence is just a figment of the imagination.
Yeah, it's still early days. They still need to develop many skills. AI assistants are not capable of understanding who's speaking, who's talking, but they are investing on that, and that's something that they understand they need to do. So we'll see change, but not now, unfortunately.
Yeah, just to add to that, I was working on a piece of research with my colleague Ronan, and one of the main conclusions were that digital assistants don't have to be really clever, they just have to be useful. Hence, being able to help you to turn the TV on and off. So do we have another question in the middle? The microphone's coming over to you.
Why do you have 3 digital assistants, and do they work together?
No. These days only Amazon has launched an agreement with Microsoft for Cortana and Alexa to talk to each other. That's at present the only interaction that it's official and working. I have 2 phones and I have a speaker, so I have actually 3 different assistants. And that's going to be common. The thing is, you could have in one room one assistant in the other. But the thing is, in the future, all of them will need to talk to each other. So Amazon would have to make agreements, a partnership with Google in the future. I don't see that happening now because they are competing and it's a race for supremacy, obviously.
So what do you think will make them actually come to that point where they might have to talk to each other?
Because they will concentrate more on the services. They will concentrate on, okay, where is the money? Okay. The money is on the things you could do with the assistant. It's very early days. They are still developing, okay, shopping, access to content. name it. But they're still developing those services on top of that. So the system will know what to offer you, but it's not happening now. They are still developing a volume, let's say. I hope that answers.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we've got time for one last question from the gentleman on the right.
Yeah, I can hear.
How do you see AI impacting content curation and aggregation? For instance, if you look at Amazon Fire Sticks, Amazon is trying to aggregate across multiple own services like Amazon Prime Video, but also third-party services. But do you see, for instance, why is Netflix not in that space? Why is Amazon actually pushing for that? So do you rephrase my question? Who do you see is going to win that sort of race towards AI, content aggregation and personalization and discoverability of content?
Okay, I can answer part of it and then I'll give you the rest for you. At the very beginning, I would say now, Amazon. Amazon has the tools. We recently published a new AI assistant tracker. I invite you to have a look, it's very interesting. And we rank Amazon first and then Google, but they're very, very close in terms of functionality. The minute Amazon is launching a new skill, you have Google, and the other way around. The thing is, these days, it's very early days to declare an ultimate winner of this. However, you would see that some assistants are going to vanish. It's very difficult to compete. If you enter the market now and create, 50,000 skills and create that ecosystem they have, interoperability for so many smart home devices, it's difficult to replicate. So you will see a game of those two players, basically.
So just to add to that, and less on the AI side of things, it will be about the ability of each platform to drive subscriber acquisition. So the reason I say that is that the best content creation and recommendation system needs to have access to all the best content. And how do you get access to that content? Of course, we're seeing a trend of OTT apps being more and more integrated into pay TV platforms and things like Amazon channels. But increasingly, the more powerful the brands like Amazon or Amazon Prime Video, they will say to a partner, well, we'll do a partnership with you and we'll do bundling and integration, but you need to commit to attract a certain number of subscribers, otherwise you're going to pay us. And this happened in the music arena, so it will not just be about AI prowess, it will be about commercial prowess in terms of subscriber acquisition. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap up. If you could put your hands together for Mariana and her fantastic presentation.
Thank you.